This is Mike Madden, and you're watching Hashtag Truth with Scott Larson.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hashtag Truth. Let me give a few announcements, then I'm going to introduce our star of the day. First of all, I was at EWF Wrestling last night. What a great show. I will have my review tomorrow. I've got 2 interviews today. I've got Kerry Morton here in just a second, and then I've got Robert Vane at 7 o'clock tonight. Hope you guys show up for both shows. And then I will do my EWF review sometime tomorrow morning, so be looking out for that. But now we have the one, the only, third generation, Kerry Morton. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
I am doing great, man. We have got a lot to talk about because I told you before the show, man, my producer hooked this interview up, and I thought I was basically going to come on here and talk 100% wrestling. But come to find out, you're an actor. Tell us about that.
Absolutely. Yes. No. So this is my 4th contract overall. I've been acting for a really long time, and so I absolutely enjoy all aspects of theater and performance. So I tried it all.
Man, now we got to let everybody know that you are actually at a theme park. So there's a lot of background noise.
I do got to let them know. Absolutely. So I'm at a theme park at the moment. I'm with my good buddy. And we're visiting some family down here in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. So we enjoyed this theme park and stuff. And I told him I had a podcast coming on. So I had to find the right location. So I do apologize of me with the camera kind of splitting in and out. I'll make sure not to try to make that happen. And of course, my audio.
No doubt, man. You sound good right now. But let's get back to this theater thing you're doing, because I went and looked up your YouTube page a little while ago. Hashtag Truth. Subscribe to your YouTube page. And the first thing I noticed is you have this 45-second clip of you on stage singing and performing. And that caught my eye. I was like, this kid can sing. And then there's all kinds of audition tapes that you have up on YouTube all over the place. And man, I'm very impressed, man. You are twofold.
Well, I appreciate that, really. So I've been auditioning for a while. With being an actor, you're always looking for that opportunity for someone to get noticed. Of course, I make sure I put my name out there. I try a little bit of everything. So I do impressions, I do vocalist singing, acting, stage combat, equity combat. I'm all into that, and I can go into that more details, but that's kind of what the basic of what I do.
Man, that is something. Now, I did see on YouTube that you were on a podcast back in 2017. I'm going to jog your memory. Yeah. It was the Sign Guy Sideshow. Do you remember doing that interview?
I do, yeah, just a young one. That was for sure.
Yeah, he was talking to you about your dad. Now, we're going to have to touch on your dad because you are a third generation. If you decide to do wrestling, among all the other things you're doing, you're going to be a third generation superstar, and everybody knows your dad. And if you don't, I'm going to tell you right now, it's Ricky Morton, one half of one of the greatest tag teams of all time, the Rock and Roll Express. How many times do you get questioned about your dad in one day, man? Seriously.
No, yeah. So I get questioned a lot, but I enjoy it. My father's made me appreciate wrestling, and he's never forced anything upon me. I'm very grateful for that, as my family has never forced anything upon me. They let me make my own decisions on what I want to do. So I love professional wrestling. It's something that's in my blood. My dad, from my grandfather, his name is Paul Morton. So he was a referee and a wrestler in his time. He always looked for that big break, but my father is the one that counted the big break. I've learned so much just from the epitome of him talking, from him explaining as we're taking our car trips to go out to eat. It's simple as that. I always learn from him. He's my role model. I get asked more times than probably I could count, honestly. But no, I'm just on a real note. It's amazing. I wouldn't change my life one bit.
Well, I've got to tell you, man, my producer, when he started sending me photos of you to post up, to advertise you were going to be on the
Yeah.
podcast today, he sent me a picture of you. It looked like you were doing a moonsault or something off the top rope. Dude, you get some mad air, man.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. I really am. My father took his time on me, and I got to work with other legends such as Bobby Eaton, Tom Pritchard, Glenn Jacobs, also known as Kane. There's just Nick Aldis, NWA World Champion. Flip Gordon, Chase Owens, international
Wow.
superstar. I've got to work with all those guys, and
Now I know you're doing this. I know you're doing the acting thing. You're doing the singing thing. But will there be a time in your life where you will enter the wrestling ring? I know you're young,
Yeah,
and there's a lot of things ahead of you, and you're talented in many ways. But I'm going to tell you, brother, there's a lot of people wanting to see you in a wrestling ring.
Well, I really do appreciate that. And actually, believe it or not, I have a little mark right here in my nose. I was at the wrestling school recently. It's the Kerry Morton in Chuckey, Tennessee. And I was wrestling hard with some boys. I did mat wrestling for a long time. I made some really good accomplishments in there. I won state. I placed in some national tournaments as well. So I did amateur wrestling for a long time, and I loved it. But here I was playing around with some of the boys, and I got a little boo-boo. So nothing's up with that. That's how wrestling is.
That's
it.
I
really, really enjoy professional wrestling. I enjoy every aspect of it, from the promos, from the writing behind the scenes, from what the wrestlers are putting on showcase after showcase. So it's something I want to dip into. And this is one deal that my father made with me, and I would definitely not go against his word, is he wants me to get an education before I dip myself more into professional wrestling. So so I'll be attending college, of course, and getting an education. Not necessarily familiar with what I want to do yet, but have a good mindset of what I want to do.
Okay.
And then hopefully dig straight into professional wrestling.
Now I've got to ask you, you do wrestling, you do acting, you sing. Have you ever thought about having a singing career? Because I know you got a buddy there, and we're going to talk to him in a second.
Yeah.
Are you into singing? Or would you ever think about doing a singing career?
No, yeah. So I definitely have. I actually did some recordings just recently of some songs. Actually, my good friend Chase, I think he just kind of ventured out in the park. He was kind of getting a little thirsty.
Okay.
So he went to get himself a drink. But I have dipped into some music with him. And then I'm definitely a musical theater guy. So I like country. I like musical theater. I like some hip hop, jazz, rock, rap. I'm all about that culture.
So you're a jack of all trades when it comes to music, man. What's your favorite song on your iPod, since you like all those musics, man?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that one more time?
You said you like all those different kinds of music. You named like 6 genres. What is your favorite song on your iPod? I want to know that right now.
Oh, man. So I got to tell you, my all-time favorite song, believe it or not, has to be Jesse's Girl by Rick Springfield. Oh.
So you're an 80s. So you like 80s music. I love 80s music.
Of course, of my father and Robert Hoots. I know him as Hoots. So if I say Hoots, I'm tending to Robert Gibson.
Okay.
Oh, man. We're in the car. That's what we jam out to. We're listening to the 80s. We're listening to some 70s, dipping into some early 90s, not the late 90s. And look, those guys, they're culture too, so they like some rap music. My father likes some rap music. He listened to my buddy Chase. So he rocks Chase's. Hoots, Robert. We like country, so we dip into some country music as well. On the road, when I'm very, very honored to go with those guys, since I stay so busy, we get to definitely hang out with those guys, enjoy some music, enjoy the road trips, hear the stories being told. Some of the stories are unbelievable. It's wild.
Now I've got to ask this. I've got to ask this, man. Road trips have got to be a trip for you, man. I mean, like I said, your dad, being the Rock and Roll Express, and you're talking about Hoot. I'll call him Hoot too, because that's a pretty cool name.
Yeah.
You're traveling down the road with these two. I mean, city to city. You grew up. I mean, you're not very old. You're what, 17, 18 years old?
I'm 18 years old.
18 years old. So you basically grew up around wrestling. but you got all these things that you're into, and I'm glad that everybody's letting you experience all this stuff because you're good. I'm just gonna tell you, you're good at everything you do.
Well, I
And
appreciate that.
but you gotta tell me one of the craziest stories you've ever had being on the road with your
Whoa.
dad and hooting them
No.
and
Oh, jeez. There has been some trips. Some things, if I told you, you probably wouldn't believe me. I'm being honest. That's these guys. I mean, are the Itoas of rock and roll. I mean, they're icons.
right?
I'm not just saying that for myself as my pops. I hear it every day. I look on his Instagram and social medias, the comments. The legends that follow him themselves. Chris Jericho. You're talking about, John Cena. Just guys that happen to comment on his post. Recently, Matt Morgan, Nick Aldis, Billy Corgan, president of NWA. Hearing some of these stories is what they tell in the locker room as these boys. I remember, recent April, they were with the Briscoe brothers.
Okay.
And they were wrestling each other. And, the Briscoes, so actually, believe it or not, tonight they were wrestling the Briscoes on a Ring of Honor pay-per-view, I believe.
Nice.
Nashville. So they're enjoying themselves. But, I hear the Briscoes coming up. And my pops is 62 years old, so he's an older guy, but hell, he's in better shape than I am, for goodness sakes. I work out every day, twice a day, and that man can outgo anybody I know of. I'm being real.
He came through our part of town about a month ago.
Yeah.
Him and his partner came through and won the EWF tag team titles. It was only for a night. They got it taken away from him the next night. But man, I'm telling you, when you say your dad's in good shape, man, we were outside in a baseball field. They had the ring set up outside at a baseball field. And when they came out to the sunlight, and I mean, that place went nuts, man. I mean,
no, of course.
There's no telling how long your dad's going to do this, but he's going to be remembered for years to come. I mean, how many people can honestly say they've never once wrestled in WWE, but yet they're in the WWE Hall of Fame? There's nobody else that can say that.
That, you're right. And that's a real honor to know that, to know how his work ethic and how he busts his ass, day after day to keep this business alive and well. I mean, that is his motto. Is he absolutely adores professional wrestling. Anything, being a producer, which he's done numerous times, being an agent, being a writer, helping this young talent WWE, the Performance Center, build up their motives and what they want to be in professional wrestling and what they're trying to accomplish when they go out to that ring and step foot in that wrestling ring. How to build yourself as a character, it's crazy the things I've learned from my pops. And, my mother, actually, believe it or not, so she was in professional wrestling as well. That's how they met.
Okay.
So, I learned thanks to my mom. My mom's a hardworking ethnic too. She busts her tail as well to get where she is. So I take lessons, and that's what I dig into is acting. Being an actor, you have to put yourself in situations that you're not necessarily comfortable with. That's either being, you're playing a homeless character or you're playing a multi-million-dollar character. You somehow have to relate to your characters. Playing a monster, etc. So I always try to relate to what I'm trying, and I relate from experiences like my father and my mother. Just learning from what can I do to add into my situation? What can I do to make my performance better? And that's what they come around when it comes to professional wrestling. I try to do things such as I want to be different. That's the biggest deal about professional wrestling. And, I'm kind of making a spree, but I do want to get this point across. I'm going off to other dimensions. I do apologize.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead. No, I'm loving every minute of this. Go ahead.
Well, I appreciate that. And see, I want to be different about professional wrestling. I see these wrestlers on independent matches. I go to these shows. I love supporting independent wrestling. I have the T-shirts. I'm sponsored by some clothing companies, so they send me stuff in to go to these matches. Excuse me. So, anyways, I do have respect for professional wrestling a lot, and I feel like now in today's generation, that's something you don't catch a lot. You don't catch respect for this business.
Right.
And that's something I get upset with. I get upset with knowing that these wrestlers, they show up. They show up kind of wearing some baggy basketball shorts, maybe a tank top cut off and a hat sideways. Looks like they haven't combed their hair in 3 days. And that's something I can't necessarily respect. If you're going to call yourself a professional wrestler, then you need to at least matured up to that level. Carry yourself in a well manner. And, I take lessons from this every day. I see it every day on the independent scene. I see one of the most talented wrestlers ever. I won't name names here, but I see, and looks in the ring performance, just performs so well. But if only he saw a gym, if only he went to the gym, maybe 4 times a week, watched what he ate a little, respected, watched some tapes. This guy could be easily $1 million talent. But it's hard to come across that kind of stuff nowadays.
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand. And I talked to your father for a little while. I actually interviewed the Rock and Roll Express for about 10 minutes a month ago during the show that they did at EWF. And they were both talking about their shows. And one of the things they said was basically what you did, that people need to that people in the wrestling business need to nurture their character. And the character is the whole thing. Not just coming out and being good on the mic, not just,
Absolutely.
being able to wrestle. You, like you said, you got to take care of yourself. You've got to hit the gym, because WWE isn't going to give you a second glance if you don't have the look.
Exactly. I have to second that too. Is people don't understand that they have that subtitle. They want to call themselves a professional wrestler, but what does it actually mean to be a professional wrestler? I mean, you see these guys that it looks like they've never been to a gym. Like I said, I'll second this again. Put some work ethic, put some ideas into mind, put some perspectives. If I get emails and I get messages a lot. How can I get booked at wrestling shows? How can I get booked on a Kerry Morton wrestling show? How can I get booked at Innovative Professional Wrestling? Big companies here in the Tennessee region, and other Knoxville, Nashville. And I tell those guys, it's like, well, do you have a highlight reel? No, I never thought of that. Well, make one. Do you have any professional promo pics? No, I have one in my backyard. No, let's ditch that. How does your body look? Well, I work out once a week, but I really don't watch what I eat. Well, we should work on that too.
Right.
And I hate being rude about situations, but that's how professional wrestling is. And it's a blunt business. It's not something that you're going to be handed. You're not going to be handed a title. If you're working for a legitimate company, you're going to have to bust your ass to get to where you need to be.
Right.
And that's exactly what I'm figuring myself out, is working myself out, figuring out ways that I can make a superstar bigger, how I can make myself bigger in the long run. What makes me any different from any professional wrestler today?
That's it. That's it.
And that's exactly right. And that's what I always think about.
The big thing that I say on my show, and everybody can take a drink and they're tired of hearing me say it.
Yeah.
Give me as a fan something to invest in.
Absolutely.
That's what it comes down to for me. You want me to pay my hard-earned money to come and watch you? Give me something to invest in.
No,
I mean,
of course.
the whole 9 yards. I mean, your character, a storyline, the whole 9 yards, man. If you want my money, that's what's going to bring my money to you, is if you give me something to invest in.
And yes, what you're saying is right on, and that's how I feel too. People say professional wrestling is dead. Absolutely, it's not dead. No, it's an entertainment. No, This is a sport. This is absolutely a sport. I saw a recent post of Jimmy Cornette and Joey Ryan online on Twitter, and they talked about how professional wrestling is a performance art and a sport, and it's both. It's absolutely both. You're putting your body on the line every single night, going out there performing for a crowd that invested their hard-earned money to get to watch you for entertainment. So this is something I always look at, is just how well a performer can, how can you second yourself? How can you make yourself better? What can you do that I want to make how I want to spend my money on you? That's what I'm trying to say.
No doubt. I'm going to get to some of these things. Melanie said, "Hey, Kerry, how are you doing?"
Yeah, hey, Melanie, I'm sorry. I'm doing really well. I'm staying busy. I never catch a break. Today I'm actually just enjoying myself at a theme park with some friends. But no, I go to rehearsal tonight. I'm getting ready for a big production out in my neck of the woods. So, I'm just staying busy. I love life, loving life.
Hi, what's going on, Joey? Joey is the owner of EWF, so glad to see he's on here. Will Trotter, now there's a story behind this. There's got to be. Will Trotter said, "Grow that mullet, Kerry James."
Oh, yeah.
What is that all about?
So yeah, well, Will. Oh my goodness, I've known Will since I was a little boy. I had the long hair, I had the long wave, but he wants me to get the mullet growing. You know, he wants me to continue my dad's legacy. So with the rockin' mullet, I got the puff going on and got the long hair going. So I told Will that one day I'm gonna consider it. At the moment, I'm doing something, so I gotta keep my hair fairly short. But once this kind of runs out, I might look into growing that. I don't know. I might look into growing the hair. I think the mullet's a new style nowadays. I see like there's
Right.
a really good artist I like in country music. His name is Morgan Wallen.
Okay.
And rocks a kick-ass mullet. I mean, it's awesome. So I'm like, geez, this guy can rock it. He has all these pretty girls surrounded with him. I was like, well, maybe I should dip into that. So yeah.
I'm from the '80s, man. Back in the day, I had long hair. I had hair, almost halfway back down my back, earring in my ear. I mean, it was the thing back then. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it'll never die. It's just like anything else. It comes back around, man. And in wrestling, if you can do a mullet and make it a part of your character, man, it is awesome, without a doubt.
Yeah, no, absolutely, for sure. So
Dylan Dollar said, "Tag in Terry Houston."
Oh wow, Dylan Dollar. So all right, here's a story. Here's a story behind this. So my pops doesn't let me wrestle in independent matches. He doesn't let me wrestle in anything.
Okay.
But so this one time I was real little. Let's see, I'm 18 now. I was probably 14, 13 years old. Had the full gear. He had me taken care of. I had professional gear made. Had the boots. I had the kick pads. Kind of the normal stuff. So he let me wrestle a wrestling match with Dylan. I think it was Dylan Dollar and maybe Cody Price, if I'm not. I can't think of the second guy's name. Excuse me. I do apologize for that. But so we're wrestling together. And I go to tag in this partner, but I never get the chance to because Dylan cuts me back off. So this whole match, I did not tag in the tag team partner because I just went into the heat. They're taking me out. Here I am, a 98-year-old pound boy. I'm just getting thrown all over the mat. These boys are roughing me, and so they went straight into the heat. And I was like, oh geez, and the crowd was hot. The crowd was behind me. I felt that just being a little boy. So I was like, okay,
so you never got to tag in your tag team partner.
Yeah, so I only tagged Terry in for the hot tag, but when I tagged him in, the roof seemed to blow up the building. It was the coolest experience at the time for me, knowing how professional wrestling is.
Nice. Dre said, let's hear your best impression.
Oh, man. All right, well, I do some impressions, that's for sure. So we do some skits at school and stuff like that, and then of course, with some actor buddies. So I do this thing with Scooby-Doo and Shaggy Rogers. So let's see here. So I'm gonna dip into this for a minute. Like Scooby-Doo, man. Like this is gonna be the wildest night of our lives. Real Raggy, Scooby-Doo.
Oh, I love it.
Oh.
I saw you do part of that impression on another video, and I almost fell out of my chair. It was so good. I was like, "Oh my goodness! If they ever needed a voiceover, they'll definitely call you, man. That is for sure."
That is a dream come true. I am a huge fan. So being in wrestling, it's not only my only interest is wrestling. I collect merchandise, but I'm a huge fan of movies. So I collect movies memorabilia. So I have some props from the Scooby-Doo movie, Spooky Island. I have some props from Friday the 13th, the Purge movies, the horror movie films. I'm a big collector, so I love collecting. Some of my paychecks I get paid for acting and stuff like that. I should invest them in things, and which I do. But I like having fun too. So I'll go
Hey! Who's to say that those things aren't going to be worth a lot of money, man? There are TV shows out there where people will pay big bucks for some of that stuff, man.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I like digging into it. So I dig into all things. I buy a little everything. So I got the original first WrestleMania shirt, the original first WrestleMania hat. I have the wrestling memorabilia that my father wore, back in the day. I have Chris Jericho's wrestling tights. I have Ric Flair's wrestling tights. I have Reed Flair, his son, which unfortunately passed away.
Right.
I have his knee pads that were worn and signed by him.
Wow.
I have So much memorabilia. I love
Your
collecting.
your man cave when you get older, your man cave is going to be very impressive, man.
Oh,
Very impressive.
It's pretty static right now. I got a surreal man cave as is. I have Enzo Amore. He recently sent us some worn wrestling shoes that he wore at Hell in the Cell pay-per-view.
Oh man.
So we have those kind of attached up in our man cave in a glass display. We have Kane, one of Kane's original masks. That was really cool to come across. Glenn happened to give that to my father. So just some really cool merchandise and memorabilia.
I bet pretty soon you could probably start your own wrestling museum the way it's going, man.
Well, that's definitely cool. I aspire to be like George South sometimes. If you ever saw George South stuff, what I'm nothing compared to what he has. He has an exhibit himself, which is amazing. So
I got to talk to George last night. I got a picture with him and talked to him for a few minutes and invited him on #Truth. And everybody's telling me all kinds of stories, especially about his jacket and him taking his jacket off and all that stuff, man. And I can't wait.
Great. And that's what I love about, George South, and how this neck of the woods, how we're kind of in the South wrestling region is different from just up north. How much heat you can get by just not taking your jacket off. How brilliant! I mean, it's absolutely surreal to see how this crowd will react to see George South not taking off his jacket. It's amazing, and and the baby faces reacted to it. Take the jacket off, take it off, and George he'll sell it again.
I heard a story where the promoter told George South he had a 20-minute match. He had 20 minutes to go out there and do his thing, and he took the first 15 to take his jacket off.
Oh, I love it. And you know what? And believe it or not, I know as bad as it sounds, it was probably one of the best matches of the card. That's just it's a performance. People don't necessarily realize that in professional wrestling anymore. Is how much it's a performance. You're
right?
Selling. You're giving that audience something they want to see.
When you're watching him take that jacket off, you're not thinking of anything else outside of that arena.
Right.
Nothing else matters.
Right.
All you got in your head is take that damn jacket off. Take that damn jacket off.
And I love that. I really admire how people can do that in professional wrestling, and you have that gift and use that gift. And you see these wrestlers, this young talent today, and they're like, how can I make myself different? Well, maybe look into doing something. Have a robe, have a jacket, and do something in that kind of aspect. Don't take George South as a shine, but do something like that. They're always looking for different ideas.
Make your own gimmick. Make your own gimmick. Make it yours, and own it.
Absolutely.
So I gotta play devil's advocate here because that's just who I am. If you ever watch my shows, I play devil's advocate sometimes.
Yeah.
And I've got to ask you a question like this because I would love to know the answer. Yeah. You have a very successful, very well-known father. Has there ever been a time in your life where you went just one day out of your life where something was going, where the heat of being his son was just too much? Was there ever one day where you were like, man, I wish for one day I wasn't Ricky Morton's son?
I got to say, that's really never came across my mind.
Okay.
And, I don't ever want to be told as I lived in his success story. I want to make my own story. And that's something I tend to do one day is, if it's not now, then sooner. I want to make my own story.
Right.
It's been a privilege. I'm very grateful that I have a father like my dad. As the way, just his work ethics, the way he busts his ass, to get to where he wants to be. And I've never lived in a regret day that I regret being a son. Right. Every lesson he's taught me has been something I can use in everyday life.
Like I said, when my producer came to me and said, I got Kerry Morton here. He's third generation. He's Ricky Morton's son. The first thing that popped into my head was, okay, he's going to be a wrestling brat. That's all he's going to do is wrestling. He's going to take that name and do something with it. And, he's automatically going to be on any card he wants because he's got the Morton name. And then I looked up your YouTube page, and my whole perspective changed immediately. Just like that. I was like, this kid can act, he can sing, he don't need his dad. This is
Well, I
awesome.
appreciate that. You know, I wanted to dip into something else, and that's why that's what my father and mother they put me in professional acting. So they gave me classes. I got vocal lessons, and then I started working on myself. I said, if I want to do something out of this, then I got to work harder. So I put myself into classes. I got a job with the company. Started working with them, doing productions, being a swing, being an ensemble member. And one thing led to another. Here I am. I was a lead in a huge production. And this is like, wow. I mean, this is surreal. And, using different characters, playing a motorcyclist Elvis impersonator, and then going into something else the next day is playing Tom Sawyer. But it's crazy to throw yourself in different perspectives and not get the same note that you're not the same character. Being a different person. And that's something I really admire about my father and my mom is.
And it's not going to hurt when you do become a professional wrestler because the entertainment's already going to be there.
Absolutely right. And that's true too. And speaking of entertainment, I brought one of my friends here.
Okay, here we go.
So I brought one of my friends here, and speaking of entertainment, I'm always about making myself different. With that being said, I have a good friend here, and I really support him in everything. My dad supports him. My whole family, we support this guy with music. He does something different. His name is Chase Williams. Chase, what's up, man?
Hi, it's nice to meet you, buddy.
How you doing, man? Oh, let's keep it on Chase. Hey, Chase, tell me
Chase,
about your music, man. Tell everybody on hashtag Truth about yourself.
I make like hip hop singing music. I started in like 7th grade. I'm 17 now, so I'm a junior in high school. I mean a senior. Sorry, I just started my senior year. And yeah, it's really just all about much like Kerry's taught me. He's been there for me this whole time, about how to be honest and just make sure you're authentic while still being able to entertain and keep people's attention.
Now, do you sing or do you just make the music?
I sing and I make the music. So I taught myself how to make beats and how to play piano, and just over time, it turned into what it is now. You can, if you want, after this ends, you can look it up and listen to it under Chase Williams is my name, and you can just type in Chase Williams Waterbed. Into whatever you listen to music to, and if you like it, then just.
Oh, awesome. Definitely. I will definitely do that, man. Hit me up with something, and I will help advertise you on my hashtag True channel, man. I'd be more than happy to do that.
Okay, so thank you very much. That'd be awesome.
No problem.
Thank you so much.
No problem, man. And good luck in your music.
Absolutely. And that's my buddy Chase. He's absolutely surreal. He's one of my best friends. He's been best friends since middle school, and he makes some crazy music. And that's something about being different. Is even the theme music of going out to the wrestling ring. I want something to be electric. I want to be something that when music comes on, every crowd member knows that this guy's either going to give me an entertainment story or a shit show. Right. That's what I want. I mean,
seriously, think about it. And you hit that. How many wrestlers are out there and you can do it right now. I could play a WWE theme song for 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And you could tell me who the wrestler is if you watch WWE at all.
Absolutely. No.
And you can make your own opinion whether you like the wrestler or you don't. When people watch wrestling and that theme music hits, one of two things goes through their head. Oh man, I can't wait to see this. I gotta watch this. Or, oh crap, I hate this guy. It's bathroom break time.
Absolutely.
And that's the way it goes, man. And it's all because of the music. People think it's the wrestler. Sometimes it's what surrounds him.
Right, and that's something I'm really grateful for a good friend like that. Is he's plugging his album. He's putting advertisement work in. So anyone that's listening to this, please go give this man a view. It's the title of his album is called Waterbed. It's Chase Williams. Go give him a plug. Give him a listen to his music. Any support's good support.
Yeah, I told him, and I'm going to make sure that you make it happen. Tell him to put something on my hashtag Truth Facebook page, and I will definitely shout him out, man.
I will, and I'm a firm believer that any exposure is good exposure.
That's it.
It gets your name farther out there.
No doubt.
Me dipping in professional wrestling, having a few matches at the school Morton, a couple tag team matches with my father. I learned that if I'm gonna do something in this business, then I need to make it big. I need to
Now,
make it
now I've
bigger
got to
than-
ask you
bigger
a
than the
wrestling
picture frame.
question because you've thrown out a lot of big names. I've got to ask you a wrestling question.
Yeah.
When you start off in your professional wrestling career, who is that first big name you want to step into that ring with?
Oh man, that's an awesome question. You know, with the talent wrestling world has today, there's so much. There's so many names I want to step in the wrestling ring with. You know, there's
You can
always,
only choose one, though, unless you're part of a
I can
tag
only
team
choose
or
one.
something. You can only choose one.
I do gotta say, growing up, I've always been around Chase Owens, which is a member of the Bullet Club. And you know, I feel like Chase and I would give a match that would not just go down for a match of a wrestling show, that could be considered for a match of something else, a match of a different genre.
Right.
I want to do something that's different. I want to paint a picture that's bigger than the picture frame itself. And I think if I could choose anyone to get a good start after the career, I'm going to choose Chase Owens.
Well, I'm going to tell you something right now. You've got a fan in me. 2 days ago, I'm not going to lie to you, I didn't even know your name, brother. But now,
Yeah.
talking to you, seeing the things that are on your YouTube page, hearing you talk, it's awesome and I'm glad you came on the show because you made a fan out of me instantly. I'm going to tell you,
Well,
and I'm definitely going to watch out for that. And I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye out for when you become a wrestler because, you know, it's what I do. I watch wrestling and I have a wrestling podcast. So, but I've got to ask this question. Somebody put this over here in the comments, and
Okay.
I've got to ask this. Caleb Crocker, he's another wrestler, great friend of mine. He said, I have a very Marcus question, but everybody already knows I'm a Mark, and I've got to know, have you ever played your dad in WWE 2K?
Oh, are you kidding me? Absolutely. Hell yeah, I do. So, no, believe it or not, so true story. So, I have some friends I go to school with, and we have big old tournaments at my house. So, I'm not the biggest gamer in the world. I tend to always get my ass kicked when I'm playing games. But I have the systems. I have the Xbox One, the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4. So, we'll get some friends over. You know, when I'm saying friends, we'll get about 6 friends, 8 friends over, and we'll go downstairs to my house. And we'll put the projector screen up and present it on the wall. And I'll plug up the Xbox and we'll have tournaments. And so our sponsors that send us wrestling gear, that send us t-shirts, shorts, hats, you know, you're talking whatever. My pops will end up making that to the winner. So they'll give them some t-shirts.
Nice. So there's an incentive to actually win the video game tournament.
Yeah, no. We have a video game tournament at our house. So we hosted one about 2 months ago. And it was crazy, man. I mean, my pops was downstairs. You know, he's an occasional drinker, so we're all playing some games. He's sipping on some, he likes the Coors Light. You know, he likes those kind of light beers.
Okay.
So he's sipping on some beers. He's laughing his ass off. My mom's enjoying herself. And we're having a tournament. And I made it pretty far. I think I made it to, we did it in rounds. If someone won the wrestling match, then you'd make different stipulations. So you'd like a one-on-one, a one-on-one.
Right.
And then you get higher up and you have, I think I made it to the third match, and I was on top of the world. I actually won one for once. I was like, yeah, I won. Let's go. We were winning, but my friend, I think my friend, let's see here, Mason ended up taking the trophy home, took all the package home. So
nice. That is nice. Now, see, that's awesome. That not only is that wrestling, but it makes memories with your dad, your family, your friends.
Absolutely.
That is fun, man. That is. I love that story.
Exactly. And we've had a time of our lives. You know, my father, he kind of dips into professional wrestling games. He's tried out the game a couple times. He doesn't know much about that. He's on Instagram, on Facebook, but it's cool. It's cool to see my pops up on that game and knowing some of the creators that made him on the game. I got to talk to those guys and how they made the looks and how
and the likenesses are brilliant. I mean, even the moves, the double team moves that they do, everything, it's just like him, and it's awesome, man. I've got 2K myself, and I play it all the time. Yeah. And when especially after I interviewed the Rock and Roll Express, man, now I won't have them. I won't do anything on that game without them being a part of it.
No, that's cool. Thank you. Really, it's really cool to see that and see how these, it's just to have all that kind of stuff going on.
Sonia said, "Hey, Kerry, you have come a long way from the little boy bringing his dad out to the ring. I'm very proud of you and can't wait to see what your future holds."
Son, I'm sorry. That's some background noise.
That's all right.
I do appreciate that. Thank you very much. That really means the world. I hope to see you guys soon. You know, I'm staying busy. I'm doing a production that will soon to be announced, hopefully my Facebook page. So if you guys are ever in the Tennessee region, come down and visit me. Come visit my show. I'd love for you guys to come watch me.
That would be awesome, man. I was going to tell you to promote yourself, but I think you
I'm
just
sorry,
did.
pardon the background noise. I apologize.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead. I was going to tell you to promote yourself, but I think you just did.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And listen, if you guys want to find more information, find me on Instagram. I'm big on the Instagram. It's Kerry. It's KERRY_M14. So that's one of my Instagram. Facebook, I'm under Kerry Morton. Twitter, Kerry Morton 20. You know, I'm on the social medias. You know, if you have a question, I'll talk about wrestling. I love talking about some wrestling, getting to the points, getting in the grills of knowing what's in the back, how productions are made, what makes a wrestling pay-per-view a wrestling pay-per-view.
I've
I've
got
got
to
Let's talk.
So I've got to ask you, as a fan, and you've thrown out a lot of names, and I know your dad's got to be somewhere on that list. Who is your favorite wrestler?
Okay, well that's an awesome question, really. You know, excluding my dad and Robert, I gotta say, you know, I've known them my whole life. I would be biased. A guy I really enjoy watching wrestle. I enjoy Manny Fernandez. I enjoy Manny Fernandez, but I gotta say, overall, if I had to pick a favorite wrestler of all time, it'd be Bobby Eaton. Bobby Eaton of the Midnight Express. Bobby was, I think, one of those most underrated talents in professional wrestling. You know,
And a heart of gold,
the
man.
skills on the mic, but to see this man perform, just amazement. To see how he has the crowd on his fingertip and can move them any direction he chooses. It's absolutely surreal.
And every story I've ever heard, anybody who's ever been asked about him, he is a professional's professional.
Yes. And you know, and that's the 80s time. That's my most favorite of all time, you know. Recent day, there's so many names I can name off. I mean, I enjoy watching performances. I enjoy watching wrestlers, you know, such as like, you know, of course, Chase Owens, I said before, but Marty Scurll, Flip Gordon. I enjoy watching.
I've got to ask your opinion on a certain wrestler because he's becoming my favorite wrestler very fast. He plays a heel. Yeah. He's going to be wrestling he is wrestling for AEW. What do you think of MJF?
MJF. You know what? I do gotta say I like MJF. I like how he's an utter prick. I'm gonna say that straight up. He is a prick, and I like that. In wrestling, you don't find that anymore.
And you know what? And you know what I love about it is every town he goes to, he Googles the town. He looks up the town. He finds out what's going on in that area at that time, and he uses it in his promo to make people hate him.
Right. And that's something that people don't understand nowadays. Is using that to your best ability, using the internet, using your sources on your phone as your best ability to see what's happening in that town you're going to see how the population is, how the welfare, if there's welfare, if there's other holds.
I mean, it's easy. Happening. It's easy to be in the South and walk into an arena and call them a bunch of rednecks and this and that. We've heard that so many times. But if you legitly point out something that's going on in their town and say it's a bunch of hogwash and you know, that gets everybody calls it cheap heat, but it's real heat. People will get mad about that.
Of course. Yeah, so exactly. You know, I want to leave as this, Scott, and I want to say overall, this has been such a fun video, and I have so much more in my mind I want to get out, but under so much time.
Right.
But I want to say, if you are aspiring professional wrestler or a professional wrestling fan, don't give up on this business. The biggest advice I can give you is to work hard. If you know, I see Chris Van Vliet, if I'm pronouncing him right.
Yep.
Vague results get vague results. You know, that's exactly right. You know, if you're not putting your best effort in to make it somewhere, then why are you putting that effort in at all? You know, my goal is to work your tail off until you can no longer work, and that's something I really, really want professional wrestlers to deal with. Is to go out to towns, find out what's happening in towns, use your best surroundings to your best opportunity. And that's something I really admire. You know, I have some things coming up and some ideas that I can't wait to show to the professional wrestling world. And I want to make sure that my name is going to be known. When I
Right.
make my impact, it's going to be known. And I want that to be firm and clear as day. Is when I do make that impact, it's going to be known. And I advise every professional wrestler out there, get in the gym, get to a good wrestling school, watch promos, read your books, get some sort of education, know what's happening around you, stay up to date in politics, stay up to date in entertainment, use that to your best ability. That's something, the best advice I can give to, as being a young professional wrestler myself that wants to make it big in this wrestling world, to any other professional wrestler is to do that.
And you're at your dad's wrestling school all the time, and you see what's being taught every day, and you're helping teach. I've heard stories about you being in the ring and actually showing how to do moves and things like that. So you're always learning, no matter what. I mean,
Yes.
people don't realize that. I mean, sure, you got you're the son of a great wrestler, but you learn every day. Even now, you're learning how to act.
Absolutely.
You're learning how to do. You're not just doing one thing. You're not just either in the ring learning how to do moves, or you're not. You're doing the whole package, man. And I'm just gonna say this the way I feel. When you get done with your, I'm not saying done, but as you go through your acting career, as you go through your singing career, as you go through your wrestling career, those three are going to blend. They're going to blend, and
I hope so.
it's going to be one fantastic thing to see, man, and I'm excited to watch it. I'm going to tell you, I've been watching wrestling for over 30 years, and I don't think I've ever been more excited to see and hear a story like this one, and I can't wait to see how it plays out, man. I'm seriously going to be watching every step you make from here on out, because I think you're gonna be a great one, man.
I do appreciate that once again, and I want to do something that people's never saw before, and I want you to hold me accountable to that.
I will.
And I want to do something that this professional wrestling world has yet to see.
I will.
Kerry Morton is Kerry Morton.
I definitely will. Give your friend a shout out one more time. Give his name.
Yes,
give his
so
company name.
All viewers right now, go give him a view. It's Chase Williams. His title of his album is called Waterbed. It's beautiful. It's a cool little album. 7 songs. He worked his ass off to get where he's at. I think any person deserves some exposure. It's that guy. He's really busted his tail. So just go give him a listen. He's on iTunes, Spotify, on all music platforms. He's there. Just go give him a view. Go give him a little like, some comments, motivation. Find him on Instagram at Chase Williams. I give him some shout outs on my Instagram at times. My father, gives him shout outs on his Instagram. So it's really cool just to see him kind of succeed. I hope he does some big things. But I'm under Instagram as well. It's Kerry_Morton, Facebook Kerry Morton, Twitter Kerry Morton 20. All right, it's real simple, Kerry Morton. So you'll find me out there somewhere. But,
I will definitely do that, and I will be watching for when your next production comes out.
Yeah.
And I will definitely share that on my Facebook page, man. I want everybody to see Kerry Morton and what he's doing in the world, man. I really appreciated you coming on #Truth and talking to us. We've been going on for about an hour now, and man, sky's the limit for you. I wish you well. Say hi to your father for me. I know he doesn't know who I am, but maybe he'll watch the show, and you guys can sit back and relax and listen to this, and maybe he'll get a giggle or two out of it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, thank you. Once again, guys, it's been a true honor.
All right, man. Everybody, we will have Robert Vane tonight on #Truth at 7 p.m. Again, thank you very much, Kerry. I appreciated your time. I appreciated your friend. And you go out there and have yourself a great day at where you're at, man. Go ride some rides.
Absolutely. I'm at Dollywood, so I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my day.
Oh, go check out Dolly. Say hi to Dolly for me.
Yeah. All right, guys.
All right, brother. We'll talk to you later. Everybody, that is #Truth for the day. Like I said, Robert Vane will be on tonight, and we will have G.I. Struggs on tomorrow night. We'll see you then. Y'all have a great day.